Hi guys, day 32. Yay! Welcome to chronic fatigue syndrome, my friend, my enemy, my constant companion. Some days I just don't want to get in front of the camera and talk. But that's a feel. I don't feel like getting in front of the camera and talking. I don't feel like dealing with humans. I don't feel it. But I know that what I feel is not necessarily the right thing to respond to. Sometimes it is. Like your gut feelings, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like, I've had a blah day. My day started blah. It's been blah. However, I know that I can still make my day something, or I can have good things in my day. So it's never like it's the day's fault or anything like that. What I'd share with you is like a bit of history. I don't know if it happens still now as much, but I've seen it pop up a few times in the online group forums. And I remember when, especially when I was a child, people with CFS, they were getting treated for depression. It was, you're depressed and therefore you have chronic fatigue syndrome or chronic fatigue. And it's just, I remember seeing these kids and they were on strong medication and they were just zombified. They were these bright, intelligent young things, and they were just zombies. And like, it's bad enough that their body was dealing with CFS, let alone having to deal with the effects of the drugs as well. And so you also get people say like, so if I said, hey, I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, it's all this, and then people say, oh, you're just depressed. It's like, I don't. Chronic fatigue syndrome isn't depression. I wish. I wish it was depression, because you could do different things with it then. But think about this. When a normal, inverted commas, healthy person experiences stimulus in their life that they find really hard to handle and process, they can, through a process, experience what people call depression. That's a normal person with a normal life stimulus. You know, work, job, bad relationships, pet rock dying, okay? They can then develop the experience of depression. What do people think is going to happen to you if you have to deal with normal life stuff as well as a chronic illness? My eyebrows can't raise any higher, wait. Okay. If you deal with normal life stuff and can develop a depressive state, then why is it why doesn't it click that if you have to deal with normal life stuff plus you're in a constant chronically ill state, that too wouldn't cause depression? Okay. Like, it just doesn't make sense. If a normal person can get it, why would we think that someone with a chronic illness won't or can't develop it as well? Okay? It just blows my mind, because I don't know how to articulate. It just blows my mind. So people who have chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome or any sort of chronic ongoing illness, injury, stuff like that, can develop that depressive state. But curing the depression, or that state that they're in, won't cure the chronic illness. It will take some pressure off them. It will help them move forward with things. It will help them cope, and it has a whole range of beautiful, wonderful things, because who needs that on top of chronic illness? But to say to cure the depression is to cure the chronic fatigue syndrome, is just not based in reality. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen, and I've experienced that state, and when I've moved out of that state, I'm not cured. I'm not suddenly like, hey guys, the cure to CFS and fibromyalgia syndrome is just to be treated for depression. Yay! I've solved it. Me, no one else. Like, it's not what happened. That's just, you know, no grounds in reality. So, if you're a normal person and someone says, I've got chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, do not say, oh, you're just depressed. And if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, it's okay to experience that depressed state. Like, don't stay there, don't dwell there. Go and see someone who will help give you the mental tools to deal with that. But when I say it's okay to experience it, what I mean is, like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's kind of natural that you find yourself there anyway. It's okay. Just identify that you are in that state and move out of it. Okay? Some of what you're feeling might be from that state, stacked on top of your CFS and fibromyalgia syndrome. Okay? So some of your feelings of fatigue and not wanting to get out of bed and, like, just lack of interest and excitement in life could be from that depressed state, stacked on top of CFS and fibromyalgia syndrome, because they have very similar feelings. Okay? So being chronically fatigued can have that same feeling that comes when you're in that depressed state. You know, you run down, you have a lack of life drive. So imagine having those two things compounded and stacked on top of each other. Wouldn't it be nice to just clear one? So if you need to, go talk to someone who can give you the mental tools to deal with this. And then you develop the tools you need to handle your CFS and fibromyalgia syndrome, because you can. There's nothing stopping you from developing those tools. The only thing stopping you is yourself. It doesn't matter what someone says. You are the only one who can either accept and make that your reality, either by convincing yourself or listening to the words of someone and convincing yourself that those are true. So at the end of the day, it comes down to you. People don't like to hear this. They don't want to take responsibility for themselves or their mind state. It is your responsibility. Okay? Move forward. So if you need to, go talk to someone who'll give you the tools. Psychiatrists are the ones who do medication and that. They make me a little bit iffy, but that's just because my experiences with them were, as a child, they medicated all my friends. You know, it's left a little bit of a funny memory in my mind. Psychologists give you the tools, the mental tools to work through those issues and then move forward. So psychologists, yeah. Psychiatrists, but that doesn't mean that they're not good. It's just, my personal thing is I don't like medication as the solve all. Okay, like you know, oh, you're this, take this drug, and you know, now you'll be calmer and more of a zombie, that kind of thing. If you've got imbalances with your body that need a drug to help your body do it, that's not what I'm talking about. I just don't like oh, you're this, take this, and you know, it'll make it all go away. So I like the idea of tools, because you can always use your tools. You can't always get your hands on medicine, and medicine doesn't always work as you like. Like you can get used to it. You know, it doesn't give you the same feeling. So yeah, it's okay. If you've got chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, it's quite likely that at some state, or currently you are in a state that you know, people call depression, stacked on top of how you're already feeling. So if you're going to get help for it, get help for that, because you'll be able to clear that and get that off of your CFS FMS stack. You know, like, one less thing to worry about. Okay, and that's what I mean by finding comfort in small things. So that will bring a sense of comfort because it's one less thing to wear you down. Okay, so it's okay if you're there. Just know that you can move yourself out of it, but you have to want to. It is one of the times where you have to want to move yourself out of it so that you can identify that you're in it, and then you can go and find the tools. I'm not saying like you want to be sick. That's why you're sick and that you choose to be sick. What I'm saying is you have to identify that there is that issue, and then you go find the tools to deal with it. Okay, that's on you. Okay, so yeah, let me know. You're welcome to share your experiences with it. As I've said before, I don't really share the woe of this too much of what I personally experienced because we've all gone through it. Like, I don't need to share with you how awful it is because you've had the awful. So I don't I don't think I need to cover that so much. But if you want to share it, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and thank you very much for letting me share with you this day 32.